When I was going through my pantry, I noticed about 5 weevils in this bag of jasmine rice. It's a 20-pound bag. And I just got this not that long ago, but I haven't had a chance to put it in the freezer. So this is just a friendly reminder to make sure that you are freezing all your grains for at least 48 hours to prevent an infestation. I tried to take this back to Walmart, but because I bought it a month ago and didn't still have the receipt, they wouldn't let me exchange it for credit or get my money back. So I'm stuck with this until they get a new shipment in. For dinner tonight, I am going to do a slow cooker pork stew with beans, white beans. So it's kind of going to be a combination of trying to use up what I've got in my freezer. I've got a pork loin here, Asiago peppercorn that I need to, I'm going to thaw it out a little bit, but I'm kind of getting a late start, so I need to get it in the slow cooker as soon as possible. It might have to thaw out in there. I'm going to use the rest of this mix I've got of seasonings. I've got onion, pepper, and celery. I'm going to use some spinach flakes. This August and Farms can is already open, so I'm trying to kind of go through there. You can use fresh spinach, frozen. You can do other greens like kale if you want. I'm just going to use some of these spinach flakes, and then I do believe I have a bag of frozen spinach in the freezer that I will also add towards the end. I've got a couple of cans of navy beans. Any white bean will do, cannellini beans, whatever. I'm going to put a couple of bay leaves in there. Going to sprinkle a little bit of this Hatch green and red chili flakes. Going to put a can of the chipotle and adobo sauce. Some Italian seasonings. I'm going to put a little bit of white wine. Some ancho chili seasoning. Some minced garlic. I've got a frozen thing here of chicken broth, unless it's turkey. It's some kind of broth that we made. And that's about it. You can customize this any way you want. I just want to kind of keep it simple, so let's get started. I forgot to mention that we're going to use a cup of shredded cheese at the end to garnish this stew. Whatever you want to use is fine. I'm using the double smoked cheddar cheese from Aldi. I love this stuff. Normally I would cook this on low, but because we are getting a late start and this is still partially frozen, I went ahead and turned my heat on high. I do love these pre-seasoned pork tenderloins. You don't really have to add too many seasonings. Now this broth is still kind of frozen. I ran some hot water along the edge to make it come out a little easier. Now this is kind of going to be a mess, me trying to get this melted so I can put the lid on, but it's a start. I wanted to get those little bits that are in the bottom that are so flavorful, so I added a little bit of really hot water so I can just add it to this, and hopefully that will start melting soon. We like lots of vegetables, so I'm going to go ahead and just pour the rest of this bag in here so it doesn't get freezer burned, because it's been open in our freezer for quite some time. Gonna go in with some Italian seasoning. We want a little rosemary and thyme. I'm gonna try to do about a cup of this white wine. This step is optional. You don't have to use wine, but it does cook out. Next, I'm going to add this chipotle peppers and adobo sauce. This stuff is so good. If you could smell it, it's just so smoky and rich. Corey uses this to make the base of his red enchilada sauce. I added a little bit more hot water so we could get all the good flavors from the bottom of this can. And once again, I'm trying to pour it over the broth to go ahead and hopefully melt this down. A mess of minced garlic. We like lots of garlic in this house. For a little extra heat, we're going in with the Hatch flakes. Again, not a lot of flavor needed here. It's already got plenty. rinsed and drained beans. Can number 2. It's going to sprinkle in some of this freeze-dried spinach just to give it some color. I'll add more of that frozen spinach closer to the end when this is done. We're going in with just a little bit of ancho chili powder. Got a couple of crushed bay leaves here I'm just going to throw on top. Let's see if this lid will go on. It might need just a little time, but I think it won't be long before that block of broth is melted down. I'll come back and check on this in about 6 hours. I don't want to let it get to where it falls apart. Since this is a tenderloin, I'm wanting it to have a little bit of structure to it because I'd like to be able to reserve some of the pork and be able to make some Cubans later in the week and just be able to slice a couple of thin slices of the pork before it gets too soft. So we will come back and check on this shortly. I forgot to film the spicy pork stew on night number 1, but it was delicious. I went ahead and separated out the beans so we could eat those separately with our leftovers the following night. I just made myself some spicy pork street tacos with these little corn tortillas. Corey just decided to make himself a Cuban. It's got ham, provolone, pickles, mustard, and he put some pieces of the pork on the sourdough and grilled it, and he said it was excellent. So we have these white beans here that are left over from when we made that pork stew the other day, and we need to hurry and use this up pretty soon, so I'm going to make a white chicken chili with it. I'm going to add one of these McCormick seasoning packets. I'm going to dice up an onion. I'm going to use some of about half of these fresh green chilies. I'm going to use some of our homemade broth. And I'm going to add a can of Rotel. And then we will add the chicken. Since everything was already cooked, I basically just assembled all the ingredients in the slow cooker and put it on low for a couple of hours. It was one of those fix it and forget it type situations. The chili is done and it smells amazing.
Very good. You can taste the pork and the chicken in that bite. Taste the green chilies. Taste the good broth that you made on those beans. Then I can taste the adobo and the smoked chipotle that we put in it.
You can get all the flavors going on.
It's really going. It's really good. I like it a lot.
Yeah, we may put some avocado on ours and dip some tortilla chips in it. But Corey built this squirrel picnic table feeder, and he made it where I could sit in my recliner and watch, but I get a bigger kick out of watching Bee, my cat, watch all the squirrels. I think she thinks she's watching National Geographics on TV. I don't know about you, but this heat of the summer is just killing me, so I am really, really jonesing for the fall. I don't know about you. This morning I had a piece of toast with apple butter and all those warm spices. It just really, really reminded me of fall. So it kind of inspired me. I've got 3 rather large sweet potatoes that I need to do something with. I've had them for a couple of weeks. So I am going to make some apple and sweet potato fruit leather on the dehydrator. It's very easy, just requires a couple of ingredients. As you know, fruit leather, when you make it at home, it's a lot better for you. You can control the ingredients, what you put in, what you leave out, that are much better than what you find in the store, and it's a lot cheaper too. So I'm going to go ahead and boil these sweet potatoes, and then I'm going to add some applesauce and some honey and some pumpkin pie spice. I'm going to go ahead and cut these sweet potatoes into small chunks so they will boil faster. I'm not going to worry about peeling the potatoes in this step. I put the lid on it so it would boil faster because these are still big chunks of sweet potato, and I was just checking on them at this stage. Once they were done, I went ahead and removed them by draining them into this colander, and I'm just going to let them cool off a little bit before I attempt to peel them. This ended up making about 2 cups of sweet potatoes, so I added the same amount of applesauce along with some honey and some cinnamon and some pumpkin pie spice, just so it could taste as similar to a sweet potato pie as possible. And then I added some brown sugar because I like that on my sweet potatoes. I could only find 2 of my silicone dehydrator sheets, so I ended up making these a lot thicker than I actually wanted them to be, and I ended up dehydrating it, I think at 135 degrees. Whatever your setting is for fruit is what I did, and I just kept checking on them every so often. Come along with Olivia and I as we go browsing and try to beat the heat by going to this indoor boutique. It's got about 400 individual booths, kind of similar to what you would see at an antique mall or a flea market, but it's just all these little individual booths with different things in them. It's got clothing, accessories, jewelry, candles, different gourmet foods, you name it, they've got it. Support your local businesses. Come along with us while we just browse the aisles and see what they got to offer. They were playing some of my jams in this place, and I really enjoyed embarrassing Olivia by going around singing. And this place has an amazing cafe inside. I think my sweet potato leather would have been done a lot sooner, like I said, if I made it thinner and if I had the other silicone sheets, which I did not have. But they finally ended up finishing, and they reminded me so much of one of my favorite sweet potato snacks from Costco that you see in the upper right hand corner there. They are so delicious. You could taste the cinnamon, the brown sugar. It just had all the vibes of fall, and it's very healthy for you. So I'm so glad I made it. I can't wait to snack on it throughout the week. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I'm closing with some footage of a weird lightning show thunderstorm yesterday. I just was so fascinated watching it for literally 2 hours. The sky just lit up, but it was silent. It was the weirdest thing. But anyway, I thought I'd bring y'all along. Didn't know if y'all noticed it in your area, if you've had any bizarre storms lately, but it was intriguing to say the least. So I do thank you so much for watching my video. If you found it helpful in any way, please like, comment, subscribe, share, do all the YouTube things that really help my channel, help me beat that algorithm. It's kind of strange because I started out doing my channel as kind of a prepping channel, and then I kind of just started going in different directions, doing different things, and I think the algorithms are really confused right now, not knowing what audience to put my information in front of. So if you find this video helpful at all, please show some love. I hope that y'all have a wonderful day, and I will be talking to y'all next time. Take care. God bless.